Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am so stoked that you are here because you know that we are here to find the best humans on the planet to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. And I found one for y'all tonight. Okay. Her name is Lisa Anderson, and she's a compelling life and business advisor and coach whose sole mission is to leverage her powerful gift to support others with their growth journeys. Don't you love that? I love that. So she's the founder and owner of Chrysalis, and Lisa enjoys being able to help others move past their barriers to moving forward on their life's journey. So, Lisa, you are speaking to the audience that loves this kind of stuff. So, how are you, Lisa? How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I am excited to be on the show and I am ready to get down and talk.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, Lisa, I love my audience to get to know you a little bit better. I think it's a great way for my audience to connect. So, the
Mhm.
first question I always ask everyone is, who are you? So, who is Lisa Anderson? Who are you?
Well, I will start by saying I am a very caring person. I love helping people grow, taking their personal life or whether it's your business life challenge to the next level. The
Love
thing
that.
is, yes, with me, it's like I'm an open book when it comes to journeys because there's different stages in life. And sometimes you find yourself in a stage where you really need someone else to
Mhm.
assist you. And I've always been that person, whether in my personal life or whether in my business life, to be there to assist, so to speak.
Mhm. Is that what made you really get into the world of life coaching, or was this something you feel like you've been, doing all your life, or what about that? Your journey for life coaching?
The funniest thing is I was a marketing consultant for years. And even with that, I find myself helping people. I'm
Mhm.
always the one, whereas I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's figure out what is bothering you. Why aren't you moving to this level? And I'm always
Mhm.
breaking
Mhm.
it down into the smaller pieces.
Mhm.
It's been something inside of me for years. And the sad part about it, I remember being asked years ago, would you ever consider being a coach? I'm like, no way. Are you crazy? No.
Same. It felt like too much work, Lisa. It felt like
Yes.
too much work. The problem is we were doing it for free. Like, what is our
Yes.
problem? So funny. That's so funny. So have you been enjoying this season in your life with being a coach and stuff? Now, do you coach both men and women, or just women, or who is it that you like to have as your client?
Well, the funniest thing is I started off with being very open to both men and women. Now, the funniest thing is I actually end up having 60% men,
Mm,
40%
mhm.
women.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So I
That's
have
funny, that's the opposite of mine, yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. You know what that is too, I think is men also need to be heard. Men also
yes,
need to be heard, right? And
yes,
a lot of times they're not heard, or they feel sometimes, that they can connect. I this is just my assessment, that I feel like sometimes when they have a woman coach, I feel like they feel a little safer. Maybe they won't be as judged, maybe that's where that comes from. So that's very interesting. It's kind of cool that, that's the trajectory of where your business is going, or where it is.
mhm.
So was there something in your life that made you look at this and say, I don't, I went through this and I had to overcome it. That way I don't want someone else to have to go through this. Was that a part of the story, or was it just the innate ability in you to help others through?
Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I have the
It's
gift to
just
see.
me and you. It's just me and you, Lisa. Don't worry about it.
I have the gift to see, and
Mhm.
with that being said, my intuition is very strong
Mhm.
into things that has happened into my life, so I was able to see things that happen a lot. So what happens is, as I'm working with clients or even myself, I'm able to see things happen before it happens. And I'm
Mhm.
able to tell someone, you know what, this is what's blocking you. This is what needs to be removed. And throughout life, you're going to have different stages. I have my own obstacles. We all have obstacles. It
Right.
just hit us in different ways. Some it may be health wise, some it may be, whereas it may be through a relationship, it may be through business, but we have the ups and downs.
Mhm.
So that too has made me open up to people, um, because I feel like at the end of the day, everyone need assistance at some point.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just may be in a different way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I've always had that heart to help. I cannot see that I know how to do something and don't do it.
Right. Right. So you almost feel like it's definitely your calling. Like you have to do
Yes,
something. Yeah, you have to do something because you see it. You can't ignore it. You can't
yes, I
ignore it.
can't
Yeah.
see it. I
Yeah.
couldn't see it and ignore. For me, it's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm one of
Mhm.
those people when I see injustice happen, I'm like, are you serious? You're not going to do anything about it. So,
Right. But that's also interesting that your background was in marketing as well, because you're also seeing the need of the market when you're in marketing,
yes,
and how to promote it, how to like show it, how to
yes,
show people that they need something they didn't even know they needed, right?
yes.
That interesting? That's so interesting.
That's why I
Yeah.
said, oh my gosh, I was like, I was doing this all my life and didn't even
Right.
realize it. And no matter what area I go into, I'm always seeing. That's the thing.
Right, right. So what do you do for you, Lisa? Like what do you do to get Lisa through things, right? So you're helping a lot of people and you're showing them their best journey and their best selves. So how do you pause for you, or how do you take you through any challenges in your life? Do you have coaches in your life as well? Like tell me a little bit about that story.
Okay, the thing is with me, when I go through challenges, I am one of those people where I need to take a minute, step back, relax. I literally take myself to a safe space. And for me, a
Mm,
safe space is the water.
mm,
When
I
I'm by
love
the
that.
water, yeah, when I'm by the water, I tend to meditate. And believe it or not, every day I meditate. I get up like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll meditate from 3 to 4. That's my way of rebalancing myself.
Mhm.
When I don't feel like I'm up to it and I really need to call on someone else, because sometimes you're going to have that moment where
Oh
you
yeah.
call on someone else. Yes, I have my own personal, I call it support system of
Yeah, good.
coaches and mentors in my life that I will say, listen, hey, you know what? I'm usually strong, but today I need you. Just talk. I don't even care what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Just talk.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what I
Yeah.
do. And then
No, that's good. Mhm.
yeah, listen to that. I always talk about feeding your soul because there's so much negativity going on in the world
Yeah.
that sometimes
Yeah.
you need an outlet that can
Mhm.
provide that positive flow of energy coming in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I make sure I put that in my daily routine every day. That's something I do, and I limit what
Yeah.
comes in when it
I was
comes to
just gonna say that.
Mhm.
Yes. I was just gonna say that, Lisa, because you talked about how, the energy, right? The energy of things going out, but we also have to be so vigilant about what
Mhm.
we're letting in,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff just starts to weigh on you, right? Just as a human, a lot of the stuff, whether it's media, whether it's whatever's out there, it's like you can and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but you have to be careful about what you're letting in, because sometimes that
Mhm.
skews your perspective, right? So if you're already getting negativity in, it almost turns out like you're sour grapes all day because you're looking at everything negative.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that you meditate. That's a really powerful practice. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and that's
Yeah.
something I also do in my practice too with my clients.
Hmm.
I do a candle healing session with my
Okay.
clients where it helps to release negative energy and that thought, because sometimes it's our
Hmm.
thoughts that
Mhm.
causes us to not be able to move forward. Sometimes we're
Mhm.
our own biggest enemies. So I
Ain't that the
work with
truth?
my clients in that way also. I find it in management, I find it in personal life, I find it everywhere. So that's another reason
Mhm.
why I decided to do coaching, because even in business, you'd be surprised. You're like, you need to recharge, you need to balance.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of us don't take the time to do that, right? I mean, we're just busy either working or trying to figure things out or being entrepreneurs or whatever it is, and it's like left, right, and we don't take that second to think about our energy and how we're feeling at that moment.
Mhm.
And we don't even acknowledge sometimes how we're feeling. We're frustrated but don't know why. We're sad
Exactly.
but don't know why. Like that's why I think a coach is so valuable to our
Mhm.
progress, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
So
agree with you.
talk to me about Chrysalis. Like I know that you're the founder and the owner of Chrysalis, and I want to know a little bit more about that. So tell me about Chrysalis and what that's about.
Well, Chrysalis is a, believe it or not,
Chrysalis.
yeah, Chrysalis is a company that I started. Is actually my nickname I received as a child.
Okay.
And it's about the stages of life we all go through. It's all about transformation and moving things forward in your life. And one of the main reasons why I use chrysalis is because of a butterfly. When you think of
Butterfly.
a
Yeah.
butterfly goes through many stages from a caterpillar. And in each stage, there's a process. Just
Mhm.
like light, it's a process.
Mhm.
And sometimes we are so quick to want to get through one stage to get to the next that we miss the lessons that's within that process.
Mhm.
So, what Chrysalis does, and the reason why I founded it, is to help people understand the process, understand how to regulate your reality, and also to understand that there's nothing that's impossible that you cannot get through. Everything
So
can
true.
be get through, but it's a matter of putting together the right ingredients, the right formula to
Mhm.
get to that
Mhm.
stage.
Mhm.
And that's what Chrysalis is all about. So I offer the life coaching, I offer the business coaching, I also offer a resource, which is the blogs, whereas you'll be able to, if it's a relationship issue, if it's a business issue, you'll be able to find the mental clarity you need to move forward.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have clients and I also do clarity readings. So because of that, it helps to deal with what's behind your thoughts, what's stuck
Okay.
in your mind that causes you to move forward. And sometimes clients don't know what it is. I have clients that's frustrated, like we were talking about earlier, and they don't know why they're stuck. And it's something very simple. When you start laying everything out on the table, that's why I call it. That's why I call myself. I said, what I do is I don't make decisions for you, but I lay
Right.
all the pieces out on the table where you can see it clearly.
Mhm. Mhm. That's good.
And then,
That's good.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
sorry
when
that
I lay,
I didn't hear that last piece. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was saying I lay everything on the table to make
Yes.
everything very clear from for my clients. So
Mhm.
that way they can choose which direction is the best direction for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. So, tell me some of the things that you feel as you're taking them through this journey, right?
Mhm.
Is there like a theme or a blockage that you find you're constantly or seeing often that you come up against when you're helping people through this journey? What would be like some of the major ones that you see?
Oh my gosh. It's the fear of failure is one big thing.
Mm.
I find that happen a lot in my practice. I find the overthinking happening
Oh
a
yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah.
And then another big one is the emotional blockage. One thing I've realized with working with clients, and we're talking about people from all status, all ages, is that when you have an emotional blockage in your life, emotional problem happening in your life, no matter what field you're in, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are, it affects your work ethics,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that throws you off. So that personal problem that you have, you take it to work, but you're not really thinking about work when you're at work. You're thinking
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
what's going on
Mhm.
in your personal life.
Mhm.
So my biggest thing is to get you unstuck and clear that area so you can move forward. So I believe that one of my biggest thing when I tell my clients, in order to work with me, you have to be at a stage of acceptance. Because
Mm.
if you're not at a stage of acceptance, we won't be able to move forward.
Right, right. Because your mindset is a huge part of this, right? And so you
Exactly.
have to get to a place where you say, okay, Lisa, I'm going to be open to being
Mm-hmm.
honest. I'm going to be open to letting you and me work together on this thing and not be offended and make sure that I'm malleable and flexible because I'm a coach too, but I don't take on every client, right? Because not every client
Yes.
is a good fit. But that
Yes.
makes a very good point, Lisa, that they do have to be, open and willing to understand
Yes.
that this is a process, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because trying to work with a client that's working against you is like, okay, you know what? You're wasting your time, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your money. And
Right.
that's not the point. The point
That's
is
not the
for you
point.
to be able to move forward. So I do refuse clients just like you in that area. I'm like, you know what? Maybe you need therapy versus because certain issues are there, whereas they need to get that blockage moved out the way before actually moving to coaching. I always tell people
Mhm.
there's a,
Mhm.
you know, because I have clients that call me for other reasons, and I'm like, that's not coaching. You need to go here.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, that's a very good point, Lisa. That's a very good point. I'd love you to, if you can, to touch on that a little bit. Like maybe you could tell us a little bit of your thought process when it comes to, let's say, therapy versus
Hmm.
coaching versus the coaching. Touch on that a little bit.
Well, I find that therapy is, sometimes you have past issues that's been going on that you haven't been able to move forward. I
Mhm.
see it a lot in relationships. Being stuck on the past is like they'll ask me, like, why is it that I can't find the right person, or they're
Mhm.
constantly looking back. You have people that, still is asking about the past, and but yet they're open to the future, but they're still stuck on the past. And
Mhm.
it's a situation where there's trauma still there that needs to be healed. Um, they need to come to a stage of acceptance of what actually happened in a situation, understand their suffering, and understand that what happened in the past has nothing to do with the future. It doesn't mean your future is going to turn out that way.
Right.
So, and they're constantly talking about the past. You can't, you're still, there's the trauma that needs to be worked on in
Mhm.
order
Mhm.
to move forward. And in that situation there, because the client is constantly talking about the past, you realize that they really need the therapy side of things because they're not ready to move forward. They're not at the stage to even be at the stage of acceptance to understand, hey, you know, that happened. We're here, but this is how you move forward. You can't work with a client to move forward in that direction if they're still hurting from something that has happened.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So,
And yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so those are things that I kind of try to listen, assess my clients as they come to me and figure out what it is. I do offer, like, I'm more so, I would say, versus a sitting down type of therapist, so to speak. I would say I do the healing, candle with healing I talk about, whereas
Mhm.
they kind of get the idea of writing something down on a piece of paper and putting it in the water and realizing, hey, after you wet the paper, it doesn't mean that it disappear because pain takes years to actually completely vanish. You have
Mhm.
to, your brain is a memory. So
Mhm.
when something happens, it's going to constantly go back to what happened. I always say you have to create new thoughts, create new
Mhm.
memories to, that one's not going to go away completely, but it would slowly wash itself away. But you can't
Right.
expect it to go away right away. But if you don't put something there to create something new, you can't expect that memory to die slowly.
Mhm. Mhm. That's a good point. So what I think what I'm hearing you say is yes, in your clearing and your candlewood and all of that work that you do, what you're saying is yes, you can have some pain that's residual. That's something that happened to you in the past, but you have to come to a point of acceptance. And if you come to a point of acceptance, we can take that and start moving
Mhm.
forward. Right? Am I
Yes.
hearing that right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's fantastic. So let me ask you if, someone's listening to this right now and it's like, I really like Lisa. I like that she's doing all this, candle work and energy clearing and all of this stuff. So what does that look like, Lisa? What does it look like when a client calls you? Like, what's the process to work with you?
Well, the first thing we will do is assessment. I always say, call me, we will do a discovery call, and we see exactly where your challenges are and what needs to happen. That would be
Mm-hmm.
the first stage of before we can even come up with an area of where we need to start working at is to do
Right.
assessment.
Right, right. Are you thinking like, is this like enjoyable for you? Are you thinking that this is you found your thing, being a
Yes.
coach? Yeah,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. The funniest thing is, and you know, I like the fact that being out of corporate America, I'm just like, whoo, it's different because I get to do it where I want, when I want, and how I want to do it. It's like,
Right,
if I
right,
want to be in my t-shirt and do it, I'm like, and that's the thing. I try to tell my clients, come as comfortable as you are. I want you to
right.
come wearing your favorite color shirt. And I always encourage this. I'm like, bring a candle because I actually create the atmosphere whereas they can release. That's the
That's really
key. If
cool.
we're
Yeah.
working, yeah, if we're working in that particular arena, if especially if it's life coaching. When it comes to business, is different. Business is like, okay, where are your challenges? Let's figure out what we need to overcome and
Mhm,
how
mhm,
we can
mhm.
move forward. So it's different. But the thing is, both sides, whether it's life coaching or business, I always tackle the mindset first.
Yeah, yeah. You have to, right? Because it starts there. That's what's gonna let them either move forward or
Yes,
stop you, right?
yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
true. That's true.
yes.
So,
It's the
I know
mindset.
that it is. It is. I agree with you 100%. You have to start there. So let me ask you something. I know that when I was reading your bio, I was reading that you were talking about transformations that surface authenticity and like soul awakening, right? And that
Mhm,
soul awakening kind of caught my eye a little bit. So can you
mhm.
talk to me a little bit about that when you talk to someone about their soul awakening, that transformative you know um uh, authenticity that they're gonna receive. Like, what do you mean by soul awakening?
Well, a lot of people don't understand the power that they have actually within them,
I
you
love
know.
that. Mhm.
And the thing is, when we start to dive deep and we start to tackle their strengths and we start to tackle their mindset, they begin to realize, hey, you know what? I have a lot built inside of me.
Mhm.
And this is where the soul awakening come out of, because what I do is I tackle, instead of I don't even look at your weaknesses, believe it or not. I'm all about your strengths. Let's go to the strengths. Let's go to the things that you love, and this is where we're going to focus at, because this is where I know you're going to flourish.
Right. 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 That's good. That's really good. That's really, really good. No, because I mean, you're right. I mean, I think most of us already know a lot of our weaknesses. In fact, we probably beat ourselves up about our weaknesses more than
Yes.
anything, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to point out your strengths, you might not even know this strength about you. And like you said in a little earlier in the interview, you said that you can see things. You can see the
Mm-hmm.
strength in others. You can see what, what's going on here. And so maybe there's a strength there that, those of you who are listening don't even know you have, right? And so what
Mm-hmm.
Lisa's saying is she would be working on your strengths and actually seeing things that you probably do not see yourself, right, Lisa?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
That's
had that.
awesome.
Yeah, even the other day, I had a client, for example, he's top of global marketing, and he called in. He had a meeting he had to do with the owner of the company, and he called in and he was like, I just really feel like something is not going right. And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he was like, well, you know what, there was an issue here, and the company is trying to bring in another person. I feel like this person is trying to take over my job. And I'm like, but he has a presentation to do the following week. But he has so
Mm,
much going on in his mind, is now it's like he's almost doubting himself on what he can do,
right.
because now he feels like his job is on the line. That put
Right.
people, when those type of situation happen, it puts people, instead of doing their best, they're at their worst, believe it or not, because they're
Yeah.
missing everything. And
Right.
I had to sit down. I think we must have spent about a good 3 4 hours going over his whole entire strategy from top
Wow.
to bottom, literally, on how to present and what is missing. And the thing is, with me having the gift to see, this is where my cards come in. And I'm like, okay, give me your boss's name. And I'm looking, I'm like, she's a detail oriented person. She needs you to do this, this, and this. And he was like, exactly how she is to us. I said, yes. So you need to touch finances, you need to hit this department, you need to hit that department, and make sure you hit this point, this point, this point. He was like, you know what? I didn't even think to do the report that way. It was like, these are the key
That's
points you
awesome.
need to hit. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is how deep we go into things when it comes to regulating your mind and working with clients. I literally try to get you to see where you're at. And I'm like, do not focus in on this other person. This person here have their own agenda. And the funniest thing is, with this other person that did come in, that person's agenda was, and that's why I had to tell him, I was like, he's new. He's busy trying to also fit himself into the puzzle to make
Right.
himself look good at the same time. It's not about trying to take over your job. It's not
Right.
about you at all. This person have their own fears.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that was a really great perspective too, right? Because we get in our own way and we get in
mhm,
our own heads. So for you to be able to, help your client in that way, it's just an example, right? It's just an example of why I am a big advocate that everybody needs a coach. And the
yes,
reason I say that is because we are blind. We have, blinded on
blind.
the side and we can't always see. Yeah. Yeah. So I think coaches are super important. And that's why I was really happy to have you on and have a great conversation because I liked your energy and I liked the bio I was reading about you. I'm like, she seems like she's fun and has good energy, and I like that about her already. So I'm really glad you came on, and I really want my audience to know how they can work with you and how they can reach out to you and all that great stuff. So before I let you go, you have to give us that info. So let us know how they can work with you, follow you on your social media handles, all that great stuff. Give it to us.
Well, the best way to reach me is www.KRISALLIS.com.
That's
Chrysalis.
us. That's awesome.
Chrysalis.
Mhm.
I
Is that
usually say
everywhere,
go there.
Lisa?
Yes, the funniest thing is I use on the website, you'll see on the top right hand corner all my social media handles.
Okay.
Business tip, clients, future clients, I'm going to tell you this: get in the habit of presenting your website.
Yeah.
Present your website, not the social media handles. Let clients go to your website, and then they can, if they want to connect via social media, they can go there.
Yep. Yep. I agree with that. And you know why I agree with that too, Lisa, is because right now with social media so volatile, you never know if you're going to say something that's going to have them cut you off or say something that's, they don't like to see or hear. Or,
Yes,
they control too much of that. And
you
your
need to
website,
control.
you own. Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And
You own
that's
your
why I tell
website.
people, get back to bringing yourself back to where you
Yep.
are based. That's your home.
Yep.
That's like, living in your own home space. No one can kick you out your own home unless you don't pay your bills and stuff like that.
Right.
That's a different story. But
That's true. But you know what
yeah,
too? Yeah, Lisa, I love that. And I also, another little tip to add to yours is keep an email list too, because
yes,
that's another place where you live. You know what I'm saying? Is in the emails. Yeah. I mean, people think
yes.
that's old school. That's not old
It's the
school. That
best
is
way to
real. That's
market
the,
is
yep.
email.
Yep. Yep.
Best way.
I,
I believe it
yeah.
or not, I find that better than social media, because
Yeah.
you
Me
got to
too.
realize the traffic from social media. And that's what I tell my clients: do not spend too much time on social media, because you have a lot of onlookers. You have to remember,
Yep.
social media is all about entertainment. They're not
Right.
really there for business. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know, try to stick with the areas where people are going to come.
Right.
And your website is the main thing. So always give out your website handle. And like Neena said, keep that email list on top, because you're going to need it.
Right. Oh, Lisa, you're so much fun. Oh man, guys, I know that you just love her because her energy is infectious, and she even like before she leaves, let me just drop a little bomb on you about your business, okay? So, Lisa, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this space with me and my audience. It was such a blessing to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neena, for having me. I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, I hope so. I really do. This is a lot of fun. So thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And now make sure that you do go on her website. I'm going to list all of her information below so that you guys can connect with her too. And I mean, isn't she so much fun? She's so much fun. So make sure that you guys connect with her. Go on and have that discovery call with her. She may be a very good fit for you, and you guys can work together and get you unstuck so that you can move forward in business and in life the way that you envision it. Thank you guys for being here. This is Neena Perez. This is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.